Hello, and thank you for your interest in YSA and our 2018-2019 Lead Agency Program. My name is Katie Reich. I am YSA's Partnerships Manager, and I am also the staff member that is managing this year's Lead Agency Program. Wanted to take a couple of moments to create this video to share with you, just to kind of help along with the application process and answer some of the more frequently asked questions that I've received so far from people who are interested in this grant program. So I hope that you find this video informative and helpful. And if you do have any additional questions after you've viewed this video and gone a little more in depth into the application, please feel free to send me an email. My email address here is kreusch@ysa.org. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So first off, to access the Lead Agency Program grant, you're going to go ahead and click on the button on YSA's homepage, ysa.org, and the button is going to be the Grants and Awards. That will take you directly to this page, our homepage that lists all of the different grant opportunities that we have going on. And for the Lead Agency grant specifically, this image right here is one way of accessing the grant. Just go ahead and click on it. The other way is if you scroll down and look at a few of our other programs that we have offering, that we're offering right now, you can also see the Lead Agency grant application right here by clicking on this box. We will be offering 25 grants of $6,000 each for the Lead Agency program. In order to be eligible, you must be a local, a regional, or a statewide organization. You can also be a school or school district, and you must have the capacity to engage at least 1,000 volunteers on 9/11 Day, MLK Day, and Global Youth Service Day, which is in April of 2019. Now, when we say 1,000 volunteers, we do mean 1,000 volunteers for 9/11 Day, 1,000 volunteers for MLK Day, and 1,000 volunteers for Global Youth Service Day. So 1,000 volunteers for each of the 3 days of service, not 1,000 volunteers total. So once you click on either this link here or the photo above, you'll see our full application with more details about some of the grant requirements. So first and foremost, this grant would not be possible without the Charles Stewart Mott Foundation and the Corporation for National and Community Service. So they've been great partners of ours in the past, and we're very excited to be working with them to help make this program a reality for you this year. So one of the big questions that we always get asked is, what exactly is a lead agency? So lead agencies, again, can be a nonprofit organization, a school, or a school district. They can be community-based organizations, colleges or universities, national service projects, government agencies, or faith-based organizations. And essentially what we're looking for lead agencies to do we are asking them to be conveners of coalitions of other organizations, other schools, what have you, in their community to engage large numbers of youth in service projects. So when we say youth, we are looking specifically at youth from ages 5 to 25. This year, we are especially looking for applicants that are engaging middle school and high school students and youth from underserved communities. Now, if you work with older youth or younger youth, you are still more than welcome to apply. We do try to engage youth of all ages in these programs. And so one of the other key components of the program this year, in addition to the large number of volunteers, is we have a few project requirements. So for 9/11 Day of Service, we are asking that at least one project that you and your coalition convene focuses on veterans and military families. And then for MLK Day of Service, we ask that at least one project focuses on economic opportunity and financial literacy. We frequently also gotten the question, do we need to have a specific focus area for Global Youth Service Day? The answer to that is no. Global Youth Service Day can be focused on any issue that is important to the youth that you are working with. So let's just start going through the lead agency application a little bit more in depth. So again, when you click on that link on our grants page, you should see this form in front of you. We are using the Submittable platform, so you may be asked to log in order to access this application. I know you can see my name in the top corner, so I am already logged in. If you do not have a login for Submittable, you will be asked to create one. We use Submittable for all of our grant applications. We also use it for all of our reporting requirements. So for any progress reports or any final post-project impact reports, we do ask that grantees complete those through Submittable. So once you have a name or an account in the system, you'll be all set to go for all of our future reporting as well. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the grant a little bit more. But again, I know I mentioned if you have any additional questions after this, you're welcome to give me an email or to send me an email. My email is right here as well, if you do need me. Okay, so of course we have our basic about information. With the contact information, we do ask that the information inputted is going to be your primary contact person, the person that I would be working most closely with, throughout the duration of the lead agency program. If for some reason during the program that contact person changes, just please let me know. So one of the other questions that we ask in here, we are asking your state or your territory. With the lead agency application, this program is specifically limited to organizations and schools that are in the United States, as well as DC and the other U.S. territories. If you are outside of the United States, unfortunately, you are ineligible for this grant program. However, we do encourage you to look at our community partner program, and if you do have any questions about that, you're welcome to contact me about that as well. Right. So one of the key components of the lead agency program is to execute high capacity and high visibility volunteer events where youth are going to be serving as the change makers. So we really want to know about your background and your organization's background and past abilities to plan and carry out these large-scale events. If you do have any examples, we would really like you to share those with us. So if you do have examples, please make sure to include those when completing this question. So at YSA, we see that youth are frequently recipients of service by adults in their communities. So again, our focus is to engage youth as agents of change rather than youth being recipients of service. And we really want it to be emphasized that youth need to be considered leaders and decision makers and have a stake in all parts of the project planning process. So please keep that in mind as you're filling out the section focused on youth. So we do want to know a little bit more about your current youth service programming and projects. Please consider the questions over here on the right, including the number of youth who are regularly engaged as volunteers, different types of service opportunities you have, and if you have a youth leadership structure, please let us know a little bit more about that. Again, activating youth in project planning, we want to make sure that youth are going to be engaged at all levels of your lead agency programming for 9/11 Day, for MLK Day, and for Global Youth Service Day. I mentioned earlier one of the key components that we're asking our lead agencies to focus on when they're engaging youth is to focus on youth who may come from underserved communities. So that could include youth with disabilities, youth who are economically disadvantaged, and youth who are in the juvenile justice system. We also want to know how you engage youth from underserved communities. And if it's something that you may not have done a lot of in the past, what are some goals that you have set for this year to engage youth from underserved communities? And then lastly, within the youth section, we want to know what opportunities exist for youth to develop or practice 21st century skills in the 4 C's. So these 4 C's are collaboration, communication, creativity, and critical thinking. These are all key skills that can help enhance youth both in the classroom, outside of the classroom, and help prepare them for life after school. All 4 of these skills have actually been supported by Fortune 500 CEOs and recruiters, and these are kind of the skills that they specifically look, some of the top skills that they look for when hiring youth, and top skills that colleges look for when they're recruiting students. Right, so partnerships and outreach. So one of the big things that I always get asked when talking about this program is, how do I engage 1,000 youth for each of these 3 days of service? That's a lot of youth. Well, as a lead agency, we don't want you to be doing this all on your own. We want you to work with others in the community, other organizations, other schools, school districts, what have you, and really engage, leverage the strengths of your partners. Some successful lead agencies in the past, we've seen kind of operate in 3 different ways. So sometimes lead agencies will be kind of at the center of days of service programming, where their partners will, come in and support them. Other lead agencies have done programs themselves and had their community partners do projects as well. And then the third type of lead agencies has been lead agencies that are facilitators of projects and facilitators of the program in their community, where their coalition partners are the ones directly leading their own projects. But because of the requirements with this grant and the importance of community building and really emphasizing the importance of a culture of service in a community, we are asking that all lead agencies engage at least 10 partners. One of those partners must be a school. So with that in mind, we want to know about your strategy for engaging your current partners, as well as your strategy for engaging new partners. Who are you currently working with? What role do they play? What are some tactics that you use to engage them? And also, how do you do outreach to get new partners involved? In a similar vein, we want to know about your strategy to engage community and elected officials. Are there any people that you regularly work with? Again, what role do they play in your program and your projects? Another very important part of service projects, not just with the lead agency program, but with all service projects, is the ability to tell and share your story with your community, to raise more support for whatever issue you and the youth that you're working with are focusing on, to spread the word about your service projects and engage more volunteers, and really just kind of to celebrate the work that youth you're working with are doing. So we just want to know a little bit more about your, what tools do you have in place to lead a communications campaign? Do you have a specific person focused at your organization that leads your communications efforts? Do youth play a role in your communications campaigns? So let us know a little bit more about that. And similarly, when we work to share our stories, we frequently use social media. So if you do have any social media handles, please share those with us. And then lastly, with our days of service, we do want to know a little bit more about any initial plans you may have for those 3 days. We understand that plans change, but getting kind of a general idea does help us. And, you know, as we go through and we approach days of service with our grantees, you know, we always like to kind of see how plans change, how plans evolve, how youth are engaged in these specific days of service. And then, of course, because of the grant requirements for number of youth, we do ask for the number of youth ages 5 to 25 that you anticipate engaging as volunteers. Again, as volunteers, not as recipients of service. And this is the number of youth total engaged by your entire coalition. So not just your numbers, but the numbers that your partners will directly activate as well. Okay. And just as a reminder, for 9/11 Day, at least one project component has to focus on veterans or military families. For MLK Day, we're asking the same questions. And again, one project must focus on economic opportunity or financial literacy. A couple different examples right here. And then lastly, Global Youth Service Day. Again, kind of we know Global Youth Service Day is, you know, about 8-9 months away. We just kind of want to have a feeling if there's any issues that youth that you work with are really interested in. And again, we understand that that evolves. And for any grantees, we are here to help support you as your projects evolve and as you get closer to each of these 3 days of service. Right. And then in order to track the number of youth that are engaged as volunteers on each of the 3 days of service, we do require each lead agency to record youth participation. You're going to need to record and report all volunteers, and some methods may include sign-in sheets or attendance records. So we do need to know how you plan on recording your youth volunteers on the day of each event. And then lastly, we do ask if you would be interested in learning more about our Global Partner Network. We understand that we do have a limited number of grants for the lead agency program this year. And, you know, we do want to continue to engage with all applicants regardless of their grant status. And that includes engaging with them for 9/11 Day, for MLK Day, for Global Youth Service Day, and general service throughout the entire year. So if you are interested in information about our partner network, please go ahead and check the yes box, and I'll make sure to share more information with you if you are not selected as a lead agency. And then once you're complete, just make sure that you click on the submit button so that we do receive it in the system. If you do need to step away from the application at any point in time and return to it, there is the Save Draft button. To re-access your application, you'll simply sign back into your submittable account, and that is at youthserviceamerica.submittable.com. So that's kind of the lead agency application in a nutshell. Again, if you do have any questions, please feel free to let me know. Again, my email address is right here, kreich@ysa.org. And then just so that I don't forget to mention it, we will accept applications through Friday, August 10th, but we'll be looking at them and reviewing applications on a rolling basis. So I highly encourage you to apply as soon as possible. So again, thank you very much for watching this video. I hope it was helpful, and we wish you all the best and look forward to seeing your application. Bye-bye.